Ever catch yourself like daydreaming about what a chief technology officer actually does? Like, do they just spend all day, tinkering with the newest gadgets and stuff? Today, we are going to be diving deep into the RoleCatcher career guide on CTOs
Okay.
to uncover what this role is really all about, the skills, the career path, and maybe even some, surprising downsides.
Yeah, let's just say it's way more than just playing with the latest tech toys.
Okay, so then let's break down this whole CTO buzzword. The guide uses this phrase, matching technology with business needs. So it's not just about being like a tech genius, right?
You've hit the nail on the head. A CTO is really like an architect, but instead of designing buildings, they're designing a company's, technology landscape.
Hmm.
They need to look at the big picture of the business and then figure out how technology can help the business achieve its goals.
So they need to be able to see which, tech puzzle pieces fit into the company's overall strategy.
Exactly. And that big picture thinking needs to include, well, everything tech related. We're talking software development, hardware, cybersecurity, networks, you name it.
Wow.
The guide even mentions how the role has expanded with things like AI, cloud computing, and the Internet of Things.
Yeah, that's a lot to keep up with. It sounds like someone who loves to be on the cutting edge of tech would thrive in this kind of role.
It's not just about liking the cutting edge, it's about living on it. You know what I mean?
Right.
The tech world changes so rapidly that the guide emphasizes being like a lifelong learner.
Hmm.
We're talking conferences, workshops, even following industry blogs, anything to stay one step ahead.
Okay, so being a CTO sounds pretty intense, but also pretty exciting for the right person. But what's the day-to-day work environment really like?
Think fast-paced and dynamic.
Okay.
As a CTO, you're at the helm, making crucial decisions that impact the whole company.
Right.
With great responsibility comes great pressure to deliver.
Definitely not for the faint of heart.
Right.
The guide also mentioned a lot of collaboration with different departments. Can you elaborate on that a bit?
Yeah, it's definitely not a solo act.
Okay.
CTO is constantly interacting with all sorts of people, um, business leaders, project managers, developers, engineers, even outside vendors, and regulatory bodies.
Wow. Okay.
The guide really highlights how strong communication and social perceptiveness
Yeah.
are essential to bring everyone along on the technology journey.
So you're not just like stuck behind a computer screen all day. You're leading a team and advocating for the tech needs of the entire company. It almost sounds like a conductor bringing all these different parts of the company together through technology.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds demanding. Does the guide offer any insights into the work-life balance for CTOs?
It does, and it's interesting. While long hours are sometimes unavoidable, especially in high growth companies, many successful CTOs emphasize the importance of building a strong team and delegating effectively.
Mm.
They stress that work-life balance isn't about clocking out at 5 p.m. It's about having the flexibility to prioritize what's important, whether that's family, hobbies, or simply recharging to tackle the next challenge.
Yeah.
How would you prioritize your time as a CTO?
It's a question worth considering. But let's be honest, the potential perks have to be pretty great to balance out the demands. What does the guide say about the pros and cons of being a CTO?
You're right, the demands are real, but the guide also highlights some pretty compelling advantages.
Okay, so spill the tea. What are these amazing perks?
Well, let's start with the one that makes everyone perk up: earning potential.
Okay.
CTOs are in high demand, and the salaries reflect that. But here's a fascinating statistic from RoleCatcher: CTOs with a strong background in AI are commanding a 25% higher salary on average.
Wow, 25%. That's huge. So not all CTO roles are created equal.
Right.
It really underscores the importance of staying ahead of those tech trends like we talked about earlier.
Absolutely. And it's not just about the money. The guide emphasizes the influence you have as a CTO on a company's strategy. You're not just following orders, you're shaping the technology roadmap and directly impacting the company's success.
So you're telling me I can play with cool tech, get paid a hefty salary, A&D, have a real impact on a company's future. This is starting to sound like a dream job.
Well, it's not always a walk in the park, remember, but you're right. Those are some major advantages, and they attract a certain type of personality.
What do you mean? Are there some common traits among successful CTOs?
Absolutely. Beyond the technical skills, which are obviously important, exceptional leadership is crucial. You're not just managing lines of code, you're managing people, inspiring teams, and creating a culture where innovation can flourish.
It's like they say, teamwork makes the dream work. Even the most brilliant tech solution is useless without a team to bring it to life. Speaking of teams, The guide goes into quite a bit of detail about the specific skills you need to excel as a CTO, and it's not all about coding languages and algorithms, is it?
Not at all. In fact, the guide highlights a surprising range of skills outside of the purely technical tech. Don't get me wrong, a strong foundation in computer science is essential, but it's those often overlooked soft skills that truly set a CTO apart.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Give me an example. What kind of soft skills are we talking about here?
Let's take communication as an example. As a CTO, you're constantly communicating complex technical information to people who don't speak tech. From the CEO to the marketing team to the board of directors, you need to be a translator of sorts, making sure everyone understands what you're doing and why it matters.
Right, because what good is a brilliant solution if nobody understands it? It's like explaining rocket science in a way that even I can understand.
Exactly. And don't forget about those all-important leadership qualities, inspiring your team, resolving conflicts, fostering a positive and productive work environment. Remember, a CTO's success hinges on their team's success.
This is reminding me of that old saying, there's no I in team, but there is an I in CTO, and that person needs a serious skill set. Speaking of skills, the guide mentions certifications that can boost your credibility and job prospects. Were there any that stood out to you? So many certifications out there, it can feel like overwhelming sometimes. What were some of the standouts from the guide?
A few really jumped out as especially relevant.
Okay.
The project management professional, or PMP,
Okay.
is valuable for managing those like big, complex tech projects.
Right.
Then there's the Certified Information Systems Security Professional, CISSP for short.
Mm.
That one's essential in today's world, with cybersecurity threats constantly evolving.
It seems like cybersecurity is always top of mind for companies these days.
Absolutely. And for those working in like agile environments,
All right.
which are increasingly common in the tech world, a certified Scrum Master, or CSM, certification can be a real asset.
So many acronyms to keep track of. It seems like continuous learning really is a must in the tech field.
You got it. The tech landscape never stands still, and neither can a successful CTO.
Speaking of journeys, the guide also lays out a possible career trajectory for aspiring CTOs.
Okay.
Can you walk us through, like, the different stages?
Sure. It often starts with, those entry-level roles like a software developer or systems analyst where you're building your foundational knowledge and getting your hands dirty with real-world projects.
So paying your dues and learning the ropes.
Yeah.
Right. What comes after that?
As you gain experience, you might move into a junior or mid-level role like a tech lead or IT manager. You'll start taking on more responsibility, maybe leading smaller teams and getting involved in some strategic decision-making.
Okay. So like leveling up in a video game, new skills, new challenges. What does the path look like as you reach those, like, higher levels?
Things get really interesting as you progress into, say, senior technology manager, director of engineering, or even VP of technology roles. You're shaping the company's tech roadmap, overseeing larger budgets and leading more significant initiatives.
Okay, and finally, you reach the peak, the coveted CTO position. It sounds like a challenging climb, but with an incredible view from the top.
Precisely. And remember, throughout this journey, from entry level to the C-suite,
Right.
RoleCatcher's platform can be incredibly valuable.
Okay.
Let's say you're applying for a CTO role that emphasizes communication skills.
Yeah.
You can actually feed the job description into their AI-powered resume builder.
Wow.
And it will analyze the keywords and suggest ways to highlight your communication experience throughout your resume.
Wow, so it's like having a personal brand strategist in your back pocket. That's
Yeah.
way more helpful than just like those generic resume templates.
Got it. And their interview practice tools are great for like brushing up on your skills and building confidence.
That's good to know because we've all been in those like nerve-wracking interview situations. Well, this has been an amazing deep dive into the world of CTOs.
Yeah.
We've covered so much ground, from those day-to-day responsibilities to the essential skills and certifications, and even like what a typical career path might look like.
And don't forget those soft skills like communication and leadership.
Right.
They can truly make or break your success in this role.
So true. As you consider whether a CTO career is right for you, remember those key takeaways we discussed and how you'd bridge that gap between cutting-edge tech and real-world business needs. It's a question every great CTO has grappled with.